We are live on Substack and the cafe is open. I forgot my ring light. Let me think it's better. It's been a thing. I just feel so disorganized today. And Solly's being really needy and demanding. That's a bit better, isn't it? I don't look like I'm sitting in the dark now. Hey, Evie. And it's not, I don't think it's reflecting too badly off the glasses, but if it is, I'm not sure there's an awful lot we can do about it. So let's get cracking. We have got a lot of news. I have got bits and pieces all over the flipping shop. So bear with me, and you guys will have to bring the jokes, because when I get stressed, I stop being able to be funny, and I'm just a little bit stressed because there's a lot to get through, and I'm doing it solo. Now, what was I looking on here for? No, it's not on my phone. It's not on my phone. I remember where it is now. Okay, so pull up those comfy chairs, everybody, or your beanbag, whichever you prefer. Grab yourself a warm milky drink or an adult beverage. And finally, the temperatures are breaking in the UK. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but I got myself... can't see it. There it is. In that top corner there, top left corner. It's a nice, huge, great big thermometer. So when I'm complaining about the heat, I can tell you what it is in your language. No, that's all right, Luma. You've got to look after yourself. That's the most important thing. I just panic. I procrastinate and panic. That's pretty much my modus operandi. And people are coming in now, so let's do a few hellos. So we said hello to Zelda and Anne and Laura and Evie, and now we've got Deborah and Crystal and MJ and Cherry and Tamara and Tracy and Neuro and MJ, and that feels like a quorum. Let's get started. So grab those drinks. You'll never guess what I'm drinking. Points if you can guess what is in the Stanley Cup today. Admin's here. Everything's all right. Hey, Jeff. Hey, Connie. Hey, Maureen. And hey, Deborah. Welcome, one and all. So, there's a couple of names. I'm not sure if you've been here before. If you are new to the cafe, you are so welcome. And welcome back to all our regulars. Hey, Summer, it is Diet Cola. Yes, not Diet Coke. Many brands of Diet Cola are available, and unless Diet Coke decide they want to sponsor me, it's Diet Cola. You know, got to earn your money somehow. So yes, welcome to see so many of you in the chat. It is great. We've got some Pams coming in now, the good Pam. So, you know, that's the one we need. And don't you worry, Summer, if you can't type. You just sit back, relax, and enjoy the news, because there's been some, hasn't there? Oh, it feels like a while since I've said that, although it's probably only 7 days. So before we begin, the sad news. Some of you will have already figured it out. Laura's under the weather, so she can't join us in person, but she's here. She's lurking. She's there in spirit, and she's... Up until about 5 minutes ago, she was helping me produce the show as we always do. So forgive me if it's a little bit clunky as I try to wrestle it back to a more scripted mama version. But the content is all the same, and we're always what's the word, editing up to the last minute, because that goddamn news is always changing up to the last minute. So we wish you a very speedy recovery, my love. You are missed. Get some rest, drink something nice. We will see you back where you belong next week, I hope. The cafe just isn't the same without you, and I'm sure I'm not the only person who thinks that. So you will all just have to laugh at my jokes if I remember to make any. Let's kick off with the news then, because we've got some fun bits, we've got some important bits tonight, and we've got the usual bits that you're expecting, but we always start off with some news. So let's jump right in. First headline: 1,000 poll monitors for the midterms. Have we all heard this? Did we all see the fragrant Harmeet Dillon representing the Civil Rights Division of the Justice Department earlier in the week? Yes, on Monday, she told Bloomberg that the department will be sending approximately 1,000, that's 1 and 3 zeros for you at the back, poll monitors out in November. In her own words, probably a historic number for a Republican administration. Well, yes, let's have a look at that. So in the 2022 midterms, how many do you think? No, you're too slow. 289. That's 289 they sent out. All right, what about the 2024 presidential election? Are we up at the 1,000? No, we're not. No. 714 across 27 states and 86 jurisdictions. This time, 1,000. And here's the part that really should stop us all in our tracks. More than 70% of that division, the Civil Rights Division of the Justice Department, were gutted. The career staff have taken early retirement or resigned just because they couldn't stand the changes that she's made. 70%, 70. That's unhinged. So here's what you're all thinking, and I'll put it into words for you. How do you get to 1,000 people going out to polls from a gutted department? Oh, yes. Oh, you're going to love this. The department told CBS it will ask federal employees to volunteer. Oh, can anybody think of any federal employees that really are neither use nor ornament, who could Deborah's ahead of us all. I hadn't even thought of ICE. Yes, they're federal employees, aren't they? And they could be commandeered by the Civil Rights Division and deputized as civil rights people. And so that would be all right, wouldn't it? There'd be nothing wrong with that. That's what the Civil Rights Division do. They go out, they protect the rights of black and minority voters. And I can't think of any finer group of people than the people who are going around scooping up black and minority, but this isn't going to work, Harmeet. This really isn't going to work. You need to give this a rethink. Yeah, will they leave their gloves at home though, Laura? Will they? I doubt it very, very much. Volunteers. That's who's going to be going out. Volunteers. I mean, how much training are they getting? How far away are we from the midterms now? 70 some odd days? That's not a lot of training, is it? I mean, sometimes there just are no words, are there? So instead of sending out the traditional career voting rights lawyers, the people with the skills and experience to make sure everything is being conducted as it should be and nobody's rights are being infringed, they're going to send out federal volunteers, which sounds more gentle than ICE Gestapo. But, you know, it's the same thing. Lord above. She also mentioned that there are prosecutions in the pipeline of people who've already voted illegally, and said that the department may take its so far unsuccessful fight to get all the unredacted state voter rolls all the way to the Supreme Court, because of course she will. They've not yet said where they'll be sending these poll monitors to, and they've not yet said when, at what point in the midterm process they're going to be sent out. It's expected they will announce further details once the primaries are all over, but I'm seeing a blue haze on the horizon. That might just be me. Yeah, let's guess, Maureen. Let's guess. Chicago, Los Angeles, Minnesota, New York. Anybody else? Anybody else got any? Probably Texas now. Can't have Talafrico getting a fair run at it. Do you know what? I don't think even 1,000 is going to be enough. It's going to be enough to cause trauma, distress, and disruption, but it's certainly not going to achieve anything meaningful because we are not going to let them. We are fighting back, and we are going to keep fighting and keep supporting each other until democracy is restored, because it is too important not to. She says, and this is a direct quote, so hold her to it, "We respect state law." She said it. It's on the record now. Hold that thought. Next up, we have got everyone's favourite acting future former ex-deputy attorney general, an all-round sleazebag, Todd, blah, blah, Blanche. So on Sunday, he sat down with Kristen Welker on Meet the Press, one of his first interviews since he was confirmed by the Senate on the 8th of August, which is also my eldest son's birthday, so that's ruined that. And Kristen asked him a very simple question. Would he pledge that the Justice Department is independent of the White House? Easy softball, easy starter for 10. If you're not in the UK and you don't know the program University Challenge, that's going to mean nothing. But yes, easy softball question. Would you pledge that the Justice Department is independent of the White House, you know, like the law says it is? He declined to answer. Yeah. Wouldn't say. Refused. He said, instead, because this is an answer, he doesn't need to worry about Trump pushing him over an ethical or a legal line. No, Todd, you don't need to worry because you're so far over there you can't even see the line way back when you crossed it. There are no more lines. The lines have gone. That's the problem. So, that's where we are in terms of the Department of Justice. 1,000 monitors from a department that won't say it's independent of the man who's named on the ballot. Well, the man whose party is represented on the ballot. So, awesome. Let's just leave those two next to each other, and I'm sure nothing bad can happen. Only good will happen. What was the quote? No bad can, only good happen. I forget. Some word salad or another. More legal news? I think so. Okay, let's move away from the Department of Justice, only ever so fractionally, because everything ends up back there. Am I right? I am. So we have got the Don Lemon update. I'm sure many of you are familiar with it. You will have seen it on Don today, or Popoc very late last night, or Glenn a little while ago. So this is the big news. The magistrate judge, Douglas Miko, has ordered the Justice Department to turn over all the testimony and evidence that was presented to the grand jury in the conspiracy case against the former CNN anchor Don Lemon and Georgia Fort and the activist group who they were there to cover in their journalistic capacity, because they are accused of disrupting a church service during this protest. Glenn spoke at length all about it, so if you want to hear more, go check out Glenn's live that he did just a few moments ago. So CNN reported it on Wednesday, and it is being described as a rare move, and that is understating it. So I looked it up because my notes say I'm not going to tell you tonight exactly where that material lands because I want to be certain of it before I say it. I know where it lands now. I looked it up. This is what I'm doing literally while I'm trying to... I did EV. It was absolute ridiculousness. I didn't watch it live. Sorry, that's untrue, and we don't do untruths. But I watched the live from start, from the snowy car park, all the way to the blizzard outside the church. Madness. It was such clear journalistic behaviour. There was no doubt whatsoever. It's a stretch charging Nikita and her colleagues with any crime. That is a stretch. But the two journalists who were clearly reporting in a very fair, gentle, balanced, professional way, it's beyond... I'm running out of words. It's ridiculous. It's nonsense. It is an embarrassment. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. There are big echoes of the nationalistische socialismists. Sorry, my tongue doesn't cope with big German words very well, but yeah, you know the abbreviation. Very much, very fascist adjacent at the very least. Anyway, sorry, yes, so you want to know exactly where it's going. Federal judge, yes. So, Judge Miko has made the order, and that has been referred up to, Glenn mentioned her, the Honourable Laura Provenzino. And Laura Provenzino is a federal judge in Minnesota, and she has asked for all the information to be presented to her in camera. So it's going to the judge. She will decide if there's been any prosecutorial misconduct. I may need to get some new teeth. These ones clearly aren't working. So watch this space. I'm sure they will keep us up to date. We've got plenty of eyes on this absolute lawlessness. But while we're in court, let's go to the big, beautiful court. That's right, it's SCOTUS. And it's all about the big, beautiful ballroom, because of course it is, because it's not like people are starving or dying of diseases that used to be eradicated, or fighting a war, or not being able to afford anything because the cost of everything is too high, or not being able to access healthcare or childcare, or have any real prospects for future employment or owning a home of their own. What we really need is a big, sparkly party room for the big orange arsehole. So it had, I don't know if you're aware, there was a stay put on it by the appeals court. They didn't like that because, of course, they couldn't do any more work. So they halted, the appeals court halted the work on the who knows how many $100 million ballroom. I've got $400 million in my notes, but I saw somewhere that the estimates are up to 900 million, and I don't doubt it for a second. I do not doubt it at all. And yeah, so basically they're just saying, it's fine, don't panic. You can have your lovely ballroom that you really, really need. You've made your really strong case for it. All we're saying is you can't continue until Congress have given their authorization, you know, 'cause it's the law. Just that little tiny detail. And since it's clearly so obviously needed, Forget all those public appearances that you've made over the months since the White House Correspondents' Dinner, where clearly that was a failure of Secret Service or general. I mean, I don't mean the individuals, although, you know, one did shoot another one, but that's beside the point, allegedly. But, you know, if it is possible for you to go out many times with in a less secure environment, and you're not dropping down dead at the hands of another everywhere you go, I'm wondering if maybe it's the case that there is the possibility to have the right security in place and not end up dead. I mean, you could stop being a fucking arsehole and people might stop wanting to kill you. That's not a guaranteed. There will be people who want to kill you, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, for the most unhinged reasons. So, you know, you may have a point, but I'll do you a deal. I'll do you a deal right here, right now. Everyone's my witness. You can have your big, beautiful ballroom if, and only if, you promise to never, ever go out in public anywhere. So anything that's happening happens in that ballroom. Then we can lock the door and throw away the key. All right? Deal? You get your ballroom, you stay safe, you can have whatever you like on the roof, whatever you like underneath. We do not care. We're going to cut it off from the rest of the White House and hand that back over to the people to whom it actually belongs. And you can have your weird little thing and we'll just humour you until you're not here anymore. Can I tell you a secret? I just got a text message from Laura telling me to relax. Am I a little bit tightly wound tonight? That's the way. I'll try and chill. Boston. I don't do Boston. I should listen to more Michaela Noguera, the makeup and beauty influencer, because she does Boston. Oh, I mean, that was bad, but if she is my guide on how to speak with a Boston accent, it's no wonder I'm not doing a very good job. Anyway, so, oh yes, what was the story? Back to that, yeah. So John Sauer, him with the voice that sounds like fingernails on a chalkboard, he's issued an emergency motion to the Supreme Court saying, this is such an emergency, we need a ballroom. There were some pissy people at Glenn's tonight. Lots of people don't like Jim Acosta. That's all right. I don't remember them passing a law where it was compulsory for you to watch Jim Acosta. So, you know, it's great. And unless somebody's come in and fucked with your TV or your computer or your mobile phone in such a way that you can't switch it off or change channel or pick a different stream, then I think you're all right. You know, you don't need to tell us all. But thank you. Thank you all for sharing. We appreciate it. We now know that there are lots of you out there who are petty little bitches. And I'm sorry if anyone in the chat is a petty little bitch. That's not a judgment. Happy to be part of the petty little bitch club frequently, often, religiously even. But yeah, no, come on. I don't care. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. You are interesting. You are very interesting. But if all you want to tell me is about how much you hate somebody else, let's not, shall we? Shall we think about something more productive? Let's find somebody you do like and tell me why you like them and why you think I might like them. Maybe. Oh, I know, Evie. I have been a really good girl, but for the fact that I'm kind of stressed because of, you know, this, I'd already decided I will not watch it. I will not listen to it. I will not entertain it. I will not go anywhere near it. Maybe in the future for research purposes, I will see what happened, but I just don't care. I'm sorry. You've gone back to your abuser. I hope you're both very happy together. And, you know, I'm really, really sorry that No, I'm not. I'm not sorry that I thought you'd changed because you were saying all the right things. It looked to me like you'd been extremely badly burned and you wanted to start anew. It had awakened something in you. Well, whatever it was that was awake, if it was, it's definitely gone back to sleep now. Yeah, Gina, I've got his book as well, one of the signed copies. I can't imagine we're going to get much for that. Hey, Proudly Sue, welcome. Everybody, we're good. We've got another emotional support Canadian in the house. There's enough to go around now. So, yes, back to the ballroom, because I've been wandering. And yeah, Cohen, I gave him a chance. I don't regret giving him a chance. He threw it back in my face along with everybody else who gave him a chance, and that's fine because that's what people do. You know, he didn't sign a contract with me. He didn't promise faithfully on his children's life that he was a reformed character. Although he did, in a live, in response to a question I asked him, say out loud, and I'll see if I can find it one day. I just can't be bothered sitting through all his noise. That Mrs. Cohen would murder him if he ever went back to Trump. He said those words. Come on, Mrs. No, I'm not. I don't mean that. Don't anybody go murdering anybody. That's not good. You just... Poor Mrs. Cohen. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe she's happy with it. Maybe. We don't live in anybody else's shoes, do we? All we can do is decide whether we want them in our little sphere of orbit. And for him, no. I'm sorry, no. I enjoyed your writing. I'm sure your writing is still good, but I don't enjoy what you've got to say now. So, like with Jim Acosta, I switch off. I don't make an announcement about it because, you know what? I just don't think anybody gives a damn. So, back to John Sauer, grating voice, horrible little man, wheeled out every time they need an argument in the Supreme Court. And I think that's a ploy. I think they wheel out John Sauer because they know that oral arguments at the Supreme Court, although they can't be televised because they're federal and that's not allowed to be televised in the US, the audio can be reported. And I think they know that if they send John Sauer in, literally nobody is going to want to sit through more than 5 minutes of it, and they'll all switch off and they can basically be largely unaccountable because we just can't bear to listen. So, yeah. Anyway, you know the deal. He needs it. So, yeah, he don't. Do you know what they're saying? Well, let me find the exact quote. The White House Director of Management and Administration wrote that some of the work is beyond the point of no return. Really? Because I don't think that's a thing. Because do you remember there used to be an East Wing there that looked pretty finished and kind of beyond the point of no return in terms of a working building, right? And then somebody came along with a great big bulldozer, smashed it to smithereens, and there we are. It is now back to the point of many returns because it's a building site. So, yeah, I'm not buying it. We will see. I mean, with this SCOTUS, you just don't know. You have to kind of dig deep and find out, is this dead on arrival? Because if it is, they're unlikely to tinker with it because they need to be able to say no to the frivolous stuff so that they can push through the really egregious stuff that really fucks over every American citizen. So could go either way, in my humble opinion. I think they will probably send it back down. That's my best guess. They'll send it back down and ask them to have a rethink because they're fucking cowards. Anyway, shall we move away from the courts and go to the Middle East? What's happening there? So we've got the deal. You'll remember the deal, yeah? So the deal that's not a deal, that's a memorandum of understanding, that's a concept of a deal, but wasn't actually signed, but as of Monday is now a concept of a proposal, of a suggestion, of an idea, of a musing, of a hypothetical of a deal, but it's expired. So, even that, whatever it was, no longer exists. So that's good. And to be fair, it was largely symbolic anyway, because after about 5.5 minutes, both sides had already said it had collapsed. So what's more interesting, thank you, Evie, and more significant, in my humble opinion, is what Iran's leadership have been doing while the Trump administration have been deciding what to call a turd. So the Revolutionary Guard have been taking increasingly greater control over the regular army. Now, how could anything go wrong there, right? Because the Revolutionary Guard, as we all know, are incredibly reasonable. Oh, fuck. Yeah, no, that's not good. What else have they been doing while Trump has been faffing around trying to polish the particular turd that we named earlier? Well, they've been expanding their counterintelligence. But don't worry, because your intelligence services, you've got a whole department of intelligence officers, which are, they're specifically trained in Iranian... Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no, they all got sacked, didn't they? Oh, that's awkward. That is awkward. Never mind. I'm sure it's fine. Unless your missiles and drones are extremely depleted and they have ramped up missile and... Oh, it's not good, folks. Oh, yeah, the news is not good. More missile and drone production has also been observed. Oopsies. Ladies and gentlemen, and mamacitas and ladies and gentle thems, Iran are not preparing for a deal. They are preparing for a war. Oh, we're so fucked. Let's move over a little bit. Let's have a look at... Oh, good news. Good news in the Gulf. Yes. New US territory. Have you heard? It's all very, very exciting. It's not Canada. It's not Greenland. It's not even Iceland or any other land when your dear leader can't remember which land in particular it is. It is the Strait of Hormuz. It has been officially labeled new US territory by the Pennsylvania Avenue squatter. Yes, indeedy. Your president... Yes, I know there's a war going on, but, those Truth Social posts are not going to write themselves. Natalie, we'll come back to that. So he posted a map of the Strait of Hormuz with the words new US territory written across it. Did we all see that? You don't even need to now, do you? You don't even need me to bring you the actual pictures because you're like, yeah, I can believe that. Yeah. And in the most beautiful script flipping move ever, Iran are now claiming the United States are begging us for a deal. That's right. They're using his lines back at him. Lego videos were not enough to troll the Trump administration. Now they're taking a page out of the Gavin Newsom playbook, and I am so here for it. What is the effect in real life? Because we have to keep coming back to real life. Shipping numbers. What's getting through? Is it hundreds, thousands? Is it completely open? Is it a free for all? Not quite. No, it's not. No, it's not, I'm afraid. Over the weekend, last weekend, traffic nearly came to a complete standstill. A whopping 13. One more than 12, that number. That's how many got through. Sunday, 3. Roughly a fifth of the world's oil. We all know this. 20%. And yeah, I think that's more than 3. I'm fairly certain that's more than 3 because that would make the whole of the world's oil be able to fit on 15 tankers? No, it's more. It's more than that. But that's not all, because if we're not completely missing the imminent military threat from Iran, and if we're not posting stupid clip art on social media, what are we doing? That's right. We're ringing Trey Yingst. And if you know Trey Yingst, you'll know why. I think his surname is designed so that you have to sneer when you say it. Yingst. I mean, that... Anyway, yes. So Fox's Trey Yingst, dear leader called him. And what did he call him for? What important critical message of national security was he imparting on the intrepid reporter Trey Yingst? Well, he threatened to bomb Oman if Oman gets in the way. That's right. There's been no audio released of this call, so it's only Trey's word. But Trey's a Fox News presenter, so he wouldn't lie, right? 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 Sorry, I went all... Is it Michael Acosta from The Daily Show there? Love that show. Yeah, when he was later asked to expand upon it in the Oval Office, he said, Oman didn't behave very well, and the United States would handle them very easily. I'm getting better at my Trump. This is Oman. Oman have spent decades in the region as the one country everybody trusts to carry a message between all parties, between enemies, between friends. They are as neutral as apple pie. I don't know if apple pie is neutral, but it seems like it would be. That's its entire diplomatic function. That is the raison d'etre, as they say in France, of Oman. And Trump's gonna bomb the shit out of it. So that's nice. Senator Tim Kaine, I'm guessing Democrat, but I haven't written it in my notes, so admin Amy will correct us if it's not. He has vowed that he will introduce a resolution barring military action against Oman when the Senate returns. So it's just words, isn't it? Fucking go do it. Virginia Senator, awesome source. Maybe he will, maybe, but it's, you know, he's going to introduce a resolution. Say, hi, this is a resolution. Hi, oh, not here. Okay, bye resolution, bye. It was good to see you. Is pretty much how that's going to work. Then moving on. Jesus, how long have we been at this? A while, right? Oh yeah, vanilla ice cream to cut through the cinnamon in the apple pie. Gotta have cinnamon in your apple pie. Cloves. A little bit of cloves when you cook the apples. Sorry, we're digressing. This is not cookery section, is it? This is the news, and it's very, very serious. So, Trump has been trumping, and I'm sorry, as a Brit, you won't understand why I can't say that with a straight face, because it means a fart, a botty burp in the UK. That's what a Trump is. So if I say Trump's been trumping, or if I hear somebody on the social medias or the streaming services say Trump's been trumping, I'm like, fart joke, because I am 12, and that's fine. That's fine. But yes. So he's been, yes, no, we don't want tablespoons of cinnamon unless you're cooking like a bathtub of apples. Sorry, I was trying to think, how was it? Rouser CW. I wasn't sure how to pronounce your name, and then I just got thrown completely. Welcome. So, yes. There's been some awful examples of misogyny and unnecessary attacks on women staff just trying to do their job in the White House, right? See you later, Evie. And no, I'm not talking about John Ossoff and Natalie. we'll come to that later. I'm talking about the one who wasn't sending the right-wing media trolls and everybody else into a complete meltdown. I'm talking about the President of the United States of America in the Oval Office shushing Kristen Holmes repeatedly like a child in a library. And why? What was her crime? She was asking him about the horrific conditions that your poor naval officers and sailors are having to put up with aboard the USS Abraham Lincoln, which we reported on last week. Food shortages, low hygiene supplies, problems with the water system, all reported from sailors to their family members, and which the liar-in-chief referred to as fake news. Yeah, fake news. And so he absolutely went off on her. But that wasn't enough. No. Because an official White House account then bobbed up and posted about how her children would be embarrassed by her if they ever came across video footage of this exchange in the future. I think they would be appalled for their mother. I think that was because there's so much pearl clutching going on this week. I know the rapid response team social media account reacted to some drama that's not a drama. And then Stephen Chung, we'll come back to him later. He responded to some other, and I think this might have been the Stephen Chung one, but if you know which was which, if you care. I mean, Jesus Christ, it's just ridiculous. Yeah. So the true facts, because I'm happy to give them, that ship has been deployed for more than 250 days. 250. What's 30s into 250? That's like 80 weeks. That's like a long time. Yeah. See, I did the maths there. And it may well break the record for the longest carrier deployment since Vietnam. This is not a little problem. And all of those boys, girls, men, women, and everything in between, they're somebody's children too. And their parents are worried sick. So fucking sort your priorities out, man. Whew. Talking of social media, we all got very excited when for the bargain price of, what was it, $100,000 each, we could get access to see which stocks President Trump was going to manipulate this week. Sorry, I misspoke. We could all get early access to see what messages of presidential wisdom President Trump was putting out into the world. That's right. Yes, yeah. Or a month? Are you yanking my chain? A month? I mean, it must be. I mean, that makes sense. That is insane. Must be good info. That's all I'm saying. So if we just, shall I start a GoFundMe? You will chip in, will you? If I start that GoFundMe so that I can get sneaky. I'll go in and I'll get the goods for all of us. I'll share it and we can all go and put our bets on Kalshi or the other one, whatever it's called, Polymarket, and we can make our money back easy. We could do like a reverse pyramid scheme. So you all put the money in, then I get the goss, bring it back. We all place massive bets, get the money back, and then fund. Yeah, you got it. See you later, MJ. Yeah, you in? You all in? Yeah, Betsy, they showed the deficit graph on something earlier, and it is big red ones and little teeny tiny blue ones, which now I'm not an expert in politics or maths or economics, but that sounds to me like you get bigger deficits under the governments that wear red. It's just what it looks like from that visual. And I did spot a mistake on that visual because they had two columns next to each other, and one had a bigger number and a bigger percentage than the one next to it, but it was smaller. And please don't do that. You don't need to do that. You don't need to make things look worse than they are, because they already look really bad. And then we don't trust you. But that's just a slight aside. Yeah. But anyway, so yes, there is a problem, Mamacitas, with our plan, though. A lawsuit has been filed. Yes, and a lawsuit has been filed by two media organisations, and I did look those up as well. The two organisations are the Freedom of the Press Foundation and The Intercept, and they have brought suit saying this violates the First Amendment, free speech, blah, 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 la, 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 all the good stuff. So they describe this whole enterprise as profoundly corrupt. And to be fair, I struggle to add to that. That's pretty much it in a nutshell. So hold off on the GoFundMe. I'll let you know when we get the green light. But we may have to think, it may be back to the OnlyFans, guys. That's all I'm saying. Just, don't get your hopes up. So. That brings me to politicians performing poorly. And I literally just made that up off the top of my head. I do love alliteration. Hands up in the chat if you also love alliteration. Far too much than you can really justify. But I do. I just love me a bit of alliteration. So where should we start? Darlene Graham? Why not? Because that's the bit I haven't scripted, because that just came up at the end of my tidying everything up for tonight. So Ms. Darlene Graham, sister of the late Lady Lindsay Graham, who has been stepping in, doing a great job, holding the fort and all that good stuff, while still grieving the loss of her beloved brother. She's decided she'd like to do this full time. This is such a great grift that 6 more years of this, starting in November, sound right up her street. So she's thrown her hat into the ring for the permanent job. And then got royally fucked, that's the French, during a debate. Now, we could overlook the fact that she's got absolutely no clue what part Taiwan and the South China Sea play in the whole scheme of national defense, national security. We could overlook that. We could, had she answered, I am aware of the situation in Taiwan and that it is a threat to the United States, but I'm working as we speak to get up to speed on the subject so that I can really assess what the threat level is. We've got our fantastic National Security Council, and they will be briefing me and helping get me up to speed. No. And yes, she does have to win a primary. So if you're in her area, her region, Amy, put it in the chat, whatever region that is. Please, if you're a Republican, do us all a solid. Vote for whoever is not Darlene Graham. Because the one thing I will say for her, when it comes to Darlene Graham, her brother was twice the woman she is. And that's all I got to say. Because you cannot just stand there and say, I'm not a politician, but I'd like a job as one. Okay. And I don't really know anything about national security. It's senator you're going for. Like one of the big jobs. It's not like school board. Not that school boards aren't important, but maybe members of the local school board. That's right, South Carolina. You are right, Betsy 5231. Maybe if you're hoping to run for your school board, you don't need to know what the impact on national security is of Taiwan and the South China Seas. Maybe. Might be useful if you do, if you know your knowledge is quite expansive, if you're a broad thinker, that might be a good sign. But for United States Senate, where you make decisions on this shit, speechless. Sorry for anyone just listening on the podcast, the audio version of the podcast, but sometimes words really do fail me. So her defense of basically responding to how do you see the situation in Taiwan and the South China Seas in terms of national security, her answer is, I fully support the military. Okay, here's a little something I prepared earlier. This is my take on Darlene Graham's response. Everybody ready? Good morning, travellers. This is your captain speaking. We are cleared for takeoff and the cabin crew are just performing the final checks before we taxi to the runway. Now, I'm just going to be completely honest with you. I'm not a pilot and I'm not an expert on flying, but I fully support our first responders and I will always be honest with you. You're all getting off the fucking plane, aren't you? What did Zelda say? Sorry, Zelda. I missed. South Carolina. Oh, are you, I'm so sorry. I'm not wrong, am I? I'm not the only one who heard that. You want a job as a politician and your unique selling point is you're not a politician. I get what you're trying to say, Darlene, but you kind of missed big style. If you want to go into politics, you need to at least understand, I don't know, politics. No? And she went on in another interview, because that wasn't the only gaffe, even though she claims it was. She went on in another interview to say that the people she speaks to aren't really worried about Taiwan. They're worried about things like boys and girls sports. Find me one person who actually has had a problem with that. And then find me one person who actually came up to you and said they've got a problem with that. Because I'm calling bullshit. But that wasn't the best. She then went on to say that the people that she spoke to are more worried about immigration. Well, Miss Darlene, I'm not surprised the residents of South Carolina, population 5 million the last time we checked, are worried about immigration, since you announced that the population is 50 million. So yes, I would do something about those 45 million who crept in last week unannounced. Fucking on. And I know that's mean. I know that's being mean and petty, and it's really easy to say 50 million when you mean 5 million, but Jesus fucking Christ, you are not qualified. You don't have the experience. Go sit down. Go stroke a puppy. Gently, nicely. It might make you rethink things. Touch grass. Do something. But running for Senate, not it. No, Sue, I can't even either. Anyway, who else has been making the news on the senatorial front? Because she's not the only one, is she? No. Let me hear you say, Jon Ossoff. Ossoff. You get it? Let me hear you say Ossoff. Ossoff. I hear you. Okay. Yes. Oh, my word. Oh, dearie me. The pearls across Magaland are being clutched so tightly that there are reports of emergency responders having to be sent out to stop people auto-asphyxiating. It is absolutely ridiculous. And we're going to go into the details because that's what we do here. We bring the receipts. So, for anyone living under a rock, on Sunday, Jon Ossoff held a rally in Atlanta and he said Trump would rather travel with Natalie than do the job. His exact words, because I got them, because you know I do. Quote, he doesn't want to do the job. He wants to build his ballroom and travel with Natalie on their apparently defenseless flying palace gifted by the Emir of Qatar. Can you believe how misogynistic he is? What? What? Am I living in a parallel universe? I just heard a man take a pop at another man who's doing a really fucking shit job of running the country, spends half his time on the golf course and the rest wandering around the building site that he's turned the people's house into. There was a woman's name in there, half a one, you know, just her first name. He didn't even say that was a bad thing. There is literally no criticism of Natalie. I'm sorry. I don't have Laura here to bring me back down to solid ground, so I just go hysterical. Unfucking-leavable. But yet, all over the magosphere, they are having a stage 4 meltdown, despite the fact that it's totally okay for their dear leader to call Ilhan Omar somebody who is involved in an incestuous relationship with her brother. It's perfectly fine for him to say to a reporter, "Be quiet, piggy." And it is absolutely fine for him to call Jasmine Crockett a low IQ person. None of this because, oh, wait, I forgot. Elizabeth Warren, Pocahontas. Not a word, not a whisper, not even a squeak. Make it make sense, people. Take care, Neuro. Oh my God, it's hurting my brain. You all worship. I'm so sorry, Amy. I'm getting a little bit squealy. You all worship a man who is an adjudicated sexual assaulter. Not only did he sexually assault a woman, he announced that he could grab women by their genitals, although he didn't use as polite a term. He also then defamed, said bad things about that weren't true. You know defamation, you must do. You've been living under Trump for long enough. A woman. What is wrong with you people? What is wrong with you people? Not you people, you're all awesome. But those people watching and thinking, oh, that's terrible. I can't believe he said that. He'd rather travel with Natalie. He just said he's fucking her. Did he? Did he though? Did he actually though? He's saying that she didn't get where she got on her own merits. He's suggesting that she slept her way to the top. Did he? Did he? Because I just... no. I guess you have to be tuned into Radio MAGA. It's a bit like Radio Gaga, only makes less sense to hear these subliminal messages. Maybe if I play John Otto's speech backwards, I will hear all the misogyny and abusive language towards Miss Harp. But somehow I doubt it. And I just don't have the fucks left to give to even bother. So, the reaction from MAGA World, as I say, has been disproportionate, is the kindest word I have for it. Fucking mental. So, what is the news? Thank you, Chris. The news is the denial is the story. The meltdown is the story. The volume tells you how hard that little that was a little bitch slap. That wasn't even a full-on book. What's it called? It's not an uppercut, is it? It's a jab or a right hook. One of those things. It's a little bitch slap. And not even a bitch slap of Natalie. It was a bitch slap of Trump. And they are losing their tiny minds, which makes us all sit back and go, that's an interestingly disproportionate reaction. I wonder what's going on there. They are fucking stupid. They've got all these dark, devious secrets. And when anybody starts sniffing close to finding out, they don't bury it in a hole in the backyard like the rest of us do. They get one of those great big, like, Batman type spotlights and shine it on the thing and then set off all the car alarms in the area until nobody can fail to see under the rock, as Jumper puts it. Absolutely bonkers. And what did the genius in the White House response? Yeah, well, he looks like Pee Wee Herman. Tumbleweed. Yeah. Don't go into comedy, Donny. I mean, don't go into anything unless it's a casket. I'm sorry. He's just getting on my nerves. That's just my personal opinion, because he's very old and very sick, and I don't like to see him suffering. Sorry. I'm stressed, I'm a bit anxious. I'm muddling up my words. Honest. Anyway, if we've got time, we will come back to Miss Hart, because I got a few things to say about her too. What else has been going on? Well, yes, there are joint exercises with South Korea. Oh, no, wait, there aren't. They're being cut because they're making Kim Jong-un sad. And he's Donnie's best friend. Although, Kim Jong-un's sister says, they not BFFs. They're not even talking. Oh, so... fuck knows what's going on there. But yeah. South Korea's president is now openly pushing for military control independent entirely of the United States. And of course he is. That's what happens when an ally works out that you aren't. Back down to planet Earth a little bit. We've got California's 14th. And because it's California, it's taking a while. And it's taking a while because that's what do you know, like heart surgery? Yeah? You know how heart surgery, you don't go in, somebody grabs a knife, slices down your front somewhere, has a reach in and pulls bits around. Yeah? They take a little bit of time, precision. There's a process, to make sure that the best outcomes happen and nothing goes wrong. Think heart surgery when you think California elections, okay? They take a while. The paper ballots go out. They all come in. They get counted. They do the thing, and it takes a while. So just chill. It's under control. We don't need to panic, all right? So that's going on right now. We've got Aisha Wahab leading Melissa Hernandez, 51.0 to 4 to 48.96. It couldn't be closer. Roughly 2,000 votes in it. Those are the unofficial figures. It's not been certified yet. Vote in mail ballots, provisional ballots, and conditional registration ballots are still being processed. So if you are in California and you are in one of those categories where you've had the thing that they send to say, can you confirm your ballot? Confirm your ballot. Go confirm. It's a few hundred votes either way. It doesn't matter. You do you, but have your say, okay? Count. Be involved. Do the things. Obviously, it's a primary. Both are Democrats, so the seat will stay. No, it's not a primary. I'm sorry. It's a special. Both Democrats. It's Eric Swalwell's seat, and AIPAC, Super PAC, is reported to have spent close to $2.5 million backing Hernandez from August onwards in a district rated D plus 20. So it's a plus 20 district. So yes. So is that a Senate seat? Was he Senator Swalwell? I think he was, wasn't he? Anyway, yes, it's important. If you are of the group who don't believe in massive corporate spending on your political candidates, you may want to go with Aisha Wahab. If you don't believe in anybody taking money from anybody supporting a genocide anywhere in the world, say Middle East, Israel, anywhere, if you don't think morally that's somebody that you could support, then you may want to cast your vote for Aisha Wahab. But unless you've already voted, it's a little bit academic. It's just for those people who've had a provisional, is it provisional, conditional? I forget which one. And then they get in touch and they say you get the thing to confirm it, and you have to confirm it within 24 hours or something. Do the thing, okay? You live in California. I don't. I don't even live in America. You know, and do it. It's important. And we're going to come back to that as well. But it's all going to be a rerun again in November, so it's only going to be an issue for a few months. So, you know, if you get it wrong, you get it wrong. We all make mistakes. Let's not worry too much. Let's just do our best. In other news, brief headlines. ABC has sued the Federal Communications Commission on First Amendment grounds. A television network suing the regulator over the government's posture towards broadcasters. The story behind that is that their license is not up for renewal for a long time. Except now it is. Thank you, Brendan Carr. Do you know, there was a time when we had absolutely no idea who the Federal Communications Commissioner was. Ah, the good old days. Yes. So that's that. Then we've got the administration have now increased the sanctions that they are imposing on the ICC. Now the sanctions are on the president of the International Criminal Court and on a senior prosecutor there. So they're just fucking with them. It is, you know, it is a big deal. Like it's going to restrict travel, especially when it comes to the US. It can restrict finances. It's just a head fuck because that's what they do. Because they don't like the ICC because they fear that one day the ICC may come a knocking. And just to cheer us all up, there have been 38 measles outbreaks in the United States this year, and officials are currently preparing to review whether America still even qualifies as having eliminated measles. Yeah. That would be a disease that was declared eliminated in the year 2000, before I even had children, when I was just a young whippersnapper, and now it's not. But the most important thing for tonight, the call to arms. And this is going to be a new regular thing, unless it's rubbish, in which case we'll forget it ever happened. Oh, sorry, getting stiff. Oh, losing my shoe as well. Okay, so here's what it is. Every Thursday, we'll tell you exactly where in America the voting is happening in the next 7 days, as best we can. Not at some point, not in the autumn, not in the deep, dark future somewhere. This week, who's up, what's open, what closes when, what are your deadlines? Because the single biggest thing that stops people voting is not apathy. It's not knowing that they've already missed the deadline. So we are going to try and help you know when your deadlines are, okay? We're also linking in the show notes to defiance.org. Let me just write that in the chat. Defiance.org. Oh, I don't have to, do I? Because Amy's here. But I got you. I started doing it, didn't I, the last time when Amy wasn't with us because she's poorly and she was away and all that good stuff. Yes. So we're going to link to defiance.org, and they have got, let me see if I've written it, defiance.org/midterms. That's defiance.org, defiance.org/midterms, all one word. And you will find there a 6-point checklist and the opportunity to activate 3 people to help support them in enacting their checklist as well. Checking your registration, voting early, voting together, take election day off so that you're not under the cosh when it comes to time, help counting every vote, and one more after that. You can download it, print it, stick it on the fridge, hand copies out at the school gate, do all the things. There are columns, as I say, for you and 3 friends, because one of you doing this is a vote. 4 of you doing this is a movement. And we need to get moving, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlethems. And before we get to the dates, one story from Tuesday night that tells you exactly why this segment exists. Pennsylvania's 12th State House District, Butler County. Trump carried it by 18 points. Republicans have held it since the 1990s. Democrat Brandon Jukes won it by 88 votes. Here's the part that matters. On the day itself, Brandon Jukes lost. I mean, yes, we know what they're going to scream, but it's irrelevant to my story because I deal in facts. Yeah. 6,559 votes to 4,885. He was beaten on election day by more than 1,600 votes. Then you count the post. Duke's 3,549. His opponent, 1,787. He lost on the day and he won the fortnight before it. That's the whole argument in one seat, in 1 week. Vote early, vote by post. Don't wait for the day. Don't let them show up and intimidate you. Don't let them fuck around with the polling station so that you have to wait for 6 weeks in line. Just get it done. So, everybody ready for who's up? Massachusetts. Anybody in Massachusetts? We were talking Boston earlier. Even I know Boston's in Massachusetts. So Massachusetts, listen up. This is the urgent one. I'll say it one more time for those at the back. Sorry, bit achy. Massachusetts. I won't sing. I don't do Bee Gees. So, Massachusetts, you are up, and you are up right now. Your registration deadline is Saturday, the 22nd of August. That is 2 days away. Online until midnight, in person by 5 o'clock. Get registered. Early voting also opens on Saturday, the 22nd, and it runs through to Friday, the 28th. I will compile a little list of this section only so that I can stick it clearly in with when the video posts live. So Massachusetts, you can come on, you can look. Massachusetts, what were my deadlines? What do I got to do? And you can see it in like an easy tabulated format. Okay, if you want a mail ballot, your application has to be in by 5 o'clock on Tuesday the 25th. That's 5 o'clock, Tuesday the 25th, Martin, for a mail ballot. Then the primary itself is Tuesday the 1st of September. Polls open at 7 in the morning. to 8 at night. On that ballot will be United States Senator, United States Representative, Governor, Attorney General, and your state legislature. The headline race is Ed Markey facing a primary challenge from Seth Moulton. On the Democratic side for government, Healy is unopposed. For the Republican nomination, it's Short Sleeve against Minogue. And one thing people can get caught out by, so I'm going to try and make sure we don't. If you are unenrolled, you can walk in and take either primary ballot. But if you want to switch party, that also has to be done by the 22nd. Same deadline, 2 days. Make a decision. You know the right way to vote, but we're not here to tell you what to do. Next up, you can sit down, Massachusetts. Thank you for your attention. California's 14th. Anybody in Alameda County? Alameda County, come to the front so that you can hear. California, you're not a date tonight, you're a rescue mission. As I said earlier, that special run on Tuesday, Wahab is ahead by around 2,000 votes and it's not certified. Ballots postmarked by election day still count if they arrive within 7 days, so votes are still landing through to about Tuesday the 25th. Here's what you can actually do. If you voted by mail in Haywood, Fremont, Livermore, Pleasanton, Union City, Castro Valley, or Dublin, go check your ballot status on ballot tracks tonight. Not tomorrow. That's BALLOTTRAX. Unless it isn't, in which case somebody will correct me. So that is Haywood, Fremont, Livermore, Pleasanton, Union City, Castro Valley, Dublin. Go check your ballot status on ballot tracks right now. You are excused. See you later. If you're sick, no, come back a second. I've got some more to tell you. Then you can go. If your signature was missing or it didn't match the one on file, the registrar will have to write to you. You send back a signature verification statement and your vote will count. You can post it, drop it in, email, even fax it if you've still got the location of a fax machine. The deadline is printed on the letter and it is 5 o'clock 2 days before certification. Okay? And here's why I'm spending time on this. In the 2024 primary, nearly 1,200 Alameda County voters had signature problems that were entirely fixable, but weren't. The margin in this race is about 2,000 votes. 1,200 fixable ballots, 2,000 vote margin, you do the maths. Everything you need is at cvote.alamedacountyca.gov. Are we good with that? I mean, you may need to look that one up because I've got it all in words and I've no idea what it meant. cvote.alamedacountyca.gov. We good? Good. Let's move on. Okay, off you go, California. Go and check your ballot tracks or whatever it's called. Georgia in the house? Is Chris Resists in? He's Georgia, isn't he? This is Georgia's 13th. I don't know where that is, but I will give you some more detail as we go through. So Georgia, you listening? It's last call for Georgia. Off we go. Georgia, you are voting now. And you better be. Laura, being an ex-Georgia isn't useful. Until you move, I'm not speaking to you. Sit down. I will come back to you. Not tonight, but I will come back to you. So, yes, Rockdale is one of them. You are correct. Oh, you were Rockdale. Well, it would have been you. But let me get to that. Got the whole spiel, haven't I? You're ruining my flow, goddamn you. You're not even in the room. Except you are. Always. So, runoff is Tuesday the 25th. That's next Tuesday. Marcy Scott against Everton Blair, both Democrats for the remainder of the late David Scott's term. Early voting runs through to Friday the 21st, so that's tomorrow. And these are the numbers that made me sit up. There are 584,000 registered voters in that district. 584,000. Fewer than 9,000 of them voted early last round. That's tiny. Come on, Georgia, wake up. Get on it. 9,000 out of 584,000. We need better. I can't do it for you. I'm too far away and it's illegal. So crack on. I'm talking to you, Clayton, DeKalb, Gwinnett, Henry, Newton, Rockdale. Get on it. Clayton, DeKalb, Gwinnett, Henry, Newton, Rockdale. Early voting finishes tomorrow. You've got your runoff up to the 25th. Do the thing. Get voting. Make it count. All right? You'll have to get me a passport as well, Martin. Okay, Georgia, I apologise. I was a little bit tough on you, but come on. 9,000 when there are 584,000 of you? What were the other 575,000 of you doing? Just saying, all right? No, Martin, but that's always worth checking. So, Oklahoma and South Carolina, you're up, as we know. Anything but Darlene Graham for you, South Carolina. And that's Tuesday the 25th. So it's not a difficult one. We've made the decision for you, although obviously you are completely entitled to choose whoever you want, as long as it is the one that we tell you to. But, you know, as I say, entirely your choice. We're not going to be there with you. Or are we? No, we're not. I'm just being creepy. Okay, Oklahoma. Yours is also Tuesday the 25th. That's primary runoffs for governor, United States Senate, and United States House. So, Oklahoma, South Carolina, have a little rest. Make sure everything's ready. Check you're registered. Tuesday the 25th. I expect to see those little ticks in those little boxes or Mama won't be happy. And finally, just counted. So this is the new bit at the end. Just counted because things that happen on a Monday or Tuesday used to fall straight down the gap between two Thursdays and disappear. Pennsylvania's 12th, Butler County. Good news there. Dukes took that by 88 votes. Certification expected on the 26th if nobody challenges it, and there is no automatic recount at that margin. The elections director has confirmed that. So we're looking up for that one, and obviously California's 14th with Wahab ahead. There's too many H's and vowels in that. Wahab is ahead, but they're still counting. So wherever you're listening, whether your name got called tonight or not, it doesn't mean I don't love you, and it also doesn't mean you haven't got homework, because that's why you come here. So go to vote.org. You know it. You should. If you're a grown-up and you're watching, if you're a child, what are you doing here? I hope your parents know that you're here. VOTE, vote, dot, that's a little period marker, org, O-R-G, vote.org. Check you're registered. Do it even if you are certain. Do it especially if you're certain, because rolls get purged more and more frequently. People get removed and you don't get told. While you're there, you can find out where your polling place is, you can request your mail ballot, and you can track it in the same place once you've sent it. If you would rather use the official government version, you're insane. I'm not going to tell you what it is. Who writes these fucking notes? But, you know, you can do it to get to your state's election office. It's a thing. You can do that. And before anybody starts, oh no, we've done the California thing. I explained that. The heart surgery, okay? It's still counting because every single registered voter gets posted a ballot, because a ballot posted on election day is allowed to arrive up to a week later. And because a human being has to check every registration and verify every signature before a single one is added. You can see why that may take a while. Counties get roughly a month to complete the canvass. So don't lose your shit if it seems to be taking them a few days, okay? Slow is not suspicious. Slow is the sound of them checking. We will give you the dates, they will give you the buttons, you give us the turnout. We are many, they are few, and it is time to show them how many we damn well are. And you know, I will be here to egg you on, encourage you, give you the tips and the tricks and the pointers and any help I possibly can, because I do feel kind of impotent stuck over here watching you all suffer. But I will do whatever I can to help. So, a quick run through on the human printer that is Natalie Harp, because nobody cares. I mean, we care because it's kind of important, but seriously, not enough to lose our shit over. So everyone has spent this week talking about Natalie Harp, and almost nobody has actually been talking about Natalie Harp. So I would like to tell you a little bit about Natalie Harp. 4 words at a rally in Atlanta. To travel with Natalie. And the entire internet knew exactly what that meant, and off we went. Except that's not what was said. I'm not doing that version tonight because I can't show you a single thing to support it. There is no actual evidence, and that's what we do here. You can turn on any channel and get the tea, hear the goss, but you come in and say, well, is that true? Maybe. And another reason is because that version of the story is actually a gift to her. Every minute the internet spends winking at each other and nudging about the younger woman and older man scenario is a minute that nobody is asking, what does she actually do? Why is she actually there? Who actually is she? And what she actually does all day, fawning after the great leader, is the story. Not, those things. So, who she is on paper. She's Special Assistant and Executive Assistant to the President. She has held this role since January 2025. She's in her mid-30s. She went to Point Loma Nazarene University and then got an MBA from Liberty University. Yeah, in 2015. Does tell a great story without me even going further. Both evangelical institutions, as I'm sure many of you will be aware, and hold on to that thought because we'll come back to it. Yeah, Liberty. Before politics, she worked in her family's business, an online hotel booking company founded in 2000. Natalie worked there from about 2012. She was involved in client engagement, then finance, then marketing and operations. She did tourism marketing, nothing to do with media, politics, policy, none of that. Then in 2020, she joined One America News Network, OAN, as a presenter. She did 2 years there and slithered her way into Trump's operation. So how did she get there? Well, and this is a little bit bonkers, but you would expect it to be. Her entire political entrance was built on a medical claim. I'm sure some of you are already aware. And I've spent enough of my life working for the NHS in the UK to want to have a little look at the details of that claim, because that's where the interesting stuff lieth. Harp claimed, stood up on stage and announced that she was diagnosed with stage 2 bone cancer. following a 2015 medical error where a nurse gave her sterile water instead of saline. Don't know whether that's true or not, but that was the claim she made. At the Republican National Convention in 2020, she told Donald Trump on a national stage that Democrats had effectively left her to die, and that Trump's right to try law had saved her life. She closed by saying she would have died waiting for approval without him. Really, really powerful testimony. Really powerful television. One problem. You were expecting that, weren't you? Yeah. Right to try, that scheme covers drugs that the FDA has not approved. Full stop. That's the entire purpose of the law. It exists so that terminally ill patients can access experimental treatments that have not yet reached that stage where they've been cleared by the FDA as approved for clinical use. Harp has said that she received an FDA approved, see what's already slipped in the sentence there? Immunotherapy drug used for an unapproved purpose. That is not the right to try. That is not an experimental treatment. That is off-label prescribing. Off-label prescribing is not right to try. It's been legal in the United States and the UK for decades. It was legal even when Obama was president. It was legal when Bush was president. Trump had nothing to do with it. And then there is the timeline, which also puts the final nail in the coffin. She tweeted in March 2018, I do love you, Laura. Stop your silly nonsense. So yeah, she tweeted in 2018, March, about the treatment she was already receiving. Already receiving March 2018. Anybody guess when Trump signed the right to try legislation into effect? Yeah. After. That was May 2018. Interesting. She was on the treatment 2 months before the law she claimed she used to do the thing that the law doesn't actually do came into effect, which is a neat trick if you can do it. So the drug was not a right to try drug. The use of it was already legal, and she was receiving it before right to try was even an actual thing. 3 separate, very, 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 very large holes, all of which her whole story falls flat into. The Washington Post, the Seattle Times, the New Republic all landed in the same place. It is widely covered if anybody actually gave a shit. And I want to be careful here, and I mean this. I am not questioning that she was ill. Absolutely not. I am not questioning that she suffered. I have no reason to doubt either. And it would be grotesque to try, and that is not what we do. And I feel awful for any suffering that she may have gone through. What I am telling you is that the political story built on top of that illness does not survive contact with the paperwork. That bit was a lie. Listen to how it was built, because this is where my linguistics degree starts twitching. In that speech, she characterized democratic health policy as, and I'm quoting, a right to marijuana, opioids, and the right to die. She said she'd been told she was a burden who should die early to save resources. That's a death panel. That's the exact same construction that was run against the Affordable Care Act a decade earlier. So if you thought that sounded familiar, that'd be why. And it was flung at us over here, the NHS, by many right-wing American commentators for years before that. So it's same old playbook. Take a real person with a real illness, put them on a stage, let their body do the arguing. You can't fact check a testimony in real time, and that's why they do it. So what does she actually do? The job. She curates what the President of the United States reads. The news articles, the social media posts, the messages. She decides what reaches his eyes. The nickname is not a metaphor. During the 2024 campaign, she carried a portable printer so she could print off articles and posts that might interest him, flattering ones, wherever he happened to be. At his New York criminal trial, she passed him a steady stream of flattering coverage clipped together with gold paper clips. And I remember watching it vividly, not actually seeing her hand it over. Now, that's an interesting, when was Natalie born? Apparently, there is some controversy over when she was born. I will come to that. Not a lot of controversy. Sorry, I'm just trying to get comfortable. So, Natalie has access to Donnie's Truth Social account and is widely reported to be the hand behind a good deal of the late night posting, including a certain absolutely disgusting video clip depicting former President and First Lady, the Obamas. And that's all I'm going to say about that. The finger is pointing at Natalie. That's as far as we've got with oh, sorry. Bit hurty tonight. But we plod on. We're troopers. We've all got to fight this fight. Yes. So. And her reach goes all the way into Congress. Lawmakers say that they make sure Natalie knows when they're trying to contact Trump, because she always responds and she relays messages on his behalf. Elected members of the United States Congress are rooting through an unelected executive assistant to reach the president, somebody who refused security vetting for the best part of a year. I do need a better chair, you're right. It's too low, the back's too far away. I do have a good chair, it's just not in. Long story. Don't feel sorry for me, I just need to get organised. So, nobody voted for her, nobody confirmed her, no committee questioned her. There's no oversight of what goes into that folder and what doesn't, the one that she gives to the president. She has no policy background, no government background, no relevant expertise of any kind. Her professional history is hotel marketing and 2 years at OANN. And she decides what the most powerful man in the world sees when he wakes up. And no, do not go there. Martin, that includes you. Don't do it. I'm watching the chat. So where does her worldview come from? Well, some of you will have seen her brother Preston on the news this week. Excuse me. Now, Preston is estranged from her. And I want you to hear that word because it does matter when you decide how trustworthy he is, how much weight you can put on his version of events. He spoke to the Daily Beast on the record, and he puts it down to their upbringing. Homeschooled with what he describes as American exceptionalism drilled into them by their conservative mother. He specifically recalls being taught what he calls a completely whitewashed version of history using materials from Bob Jones University Press, which is a fundamentalist Christian publisher. His argument is that she doesn't see the whitewashing of history as a distortion. She sees it as a correction. And that Trump for her is exceptionalism in human form. Jesus, how low some people's standards really are. He described the bond between them as extremely unhealthy. So that is a named family member on the record mainstream outlet. It's not anonymous. It's not a book deal, and he's put his name to it. So that does add weight to it, and that's why I'm telling you about that. What I am not telling you about is the other stuff, which you've probably seen going around. So there's a whole stack of other stories: the adoring letters, the Secret Service supposedly branding her a time bomb, the Charlie's Angels business, the tale of her sleeping in the golf club locker room. I'm not discussing any of it because it's all out there, and the source is Michael Wolff, and I find his relationship with the truth somewhat flexible. I am not alleging that he lies or spreads falsehoods. I am just saying that he has a very involved and creative way of storytelling. And if I can't show you the receipt, then I can't verify something as actual fact. And that's where I am in terms of Michael Wolff. He is not, in my opinion, a receipt. There are two things that sit just outside of that pile because they weren't his. CNN obtained a photograph from October 2023 showing that when Hart was denied a seat in the motorcade to one of Trump's court appearances, she decided the sensible adult thing to do would be to climb into the boot of an SUV rather than be left behind. Yeah. And also Maggie Haberman and Jonathan Swan also reported in their book that Trump was saying she was the only one who loved him as much as his wife and children, and that she'd never leave him. He is, exactly. Michael Wolff is one person. And his business is storytelling. I mean, truthful storytelling, you know, storytelling based on facts, but about people. He needs to make it interesting. So, yeah. That's why I'm not going to share it, because there's no real proof other than Michael Wolff said so. And that's fine. That's not suggesting it's not true. It's just not for now. Especially when we've already been going an hour and 3/4. So where I land on this one, everyone spent this week doing innuendo about a woman in her 30s, and Forbes has already noted that much of the eyebrow-raising coverage rests on nothing more than the optics of her being seen with the president. Every hour of that has been a free pass, because as long as her critics are winking and nudging, her defenders get to shout sexism and never actually answer any straight questions. So let's ask the real ones. How did an unelected, unconfirmed, unvetted hotel marketer with 2 years of far-right television behind her end up as the filter on the president's information supply? Why does a woman whose national political debut rest on a claim that collapses in under 30 minutes of fact-checking still have that kind of access? And who in that building is telling that man anything that he may not want to hear just because it's the truth? Because on the current evidence, the answer is absolutely fucking nobody. And that's not a scandal about a relationship. That is a scandal about a government. Now, pivoting beautifully onto people who've lost their minds this week, do you know what time it is? You're like, oh, thank God, finally, Mama. Yes, 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 it is. Oh. Hey, sorry, I'm a bit achy. Here we go. Here we go. Here she comes. Dun, 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 dun. Fire. I can't remember the rest of the words, sorry. Here we have the beautiful Mount Mama. Complete with golden ballroom. Complete with our little drones. Is that a little drone? That's an actual drone noise. In they go. And oh, Who's that looking out the window of the hermetically sealed boardroom? Hello, Donny. Good, you're still in there. Excellent. Let's crack on. So, who's going in this week, you ask? Thank you. Thank you very much. So, let's have a look. Before we do, though, very important disclaimer. It is time for Mount Mama, our volcano for the villainous, our timeout for the toxic, our naughty step for the noxious. But before we send a single soul up the mountain, just get the mountain in the shot. A few important words. However realistic this may look, it's not an actual volcano. I know. Those of you just listening in audio, you're not going to believe it when you see it, that it's not an actual volcano, but it's actually just made out of an Amazon box and some art supplies. Yeah, not real in any way, shape or form. And while our villains may bear a striking resemblance to people you may know or recognize, any resemblance is entirely coincidental, okay? They are not, in fact, teeny tiny little people. Laura and I are trained professionals, as is Summer when she joins us. We don't let just anybody loose on this kind of thing. Please do not try this at home. And we do not condone violence of any kind. We want that to be clear. So however tempted you may be, however much someone may deserve to burn for all eternity in the depths of hell, please don't go pushing actual people into actual volcanoes. That is not okay. Everything set up on the mountain is opinion, satire, and fair comment on public figures and matters of public interest. The receipts are as ever in the show notes. So who have we got first? Well, yes. Let me just sit back a little bit. You can all still hear me, even if I'm over here, because, you know, I've got the microphone over here and I can hold Mount Mama up a little bit closer. There we go. Okay, there's Mount Mama. Who's first? It's Natalie. And she's not going in for anything that John Ossoff implied. That is between him and the internet. She goes up that mountain for the actual job she's doing. And here she goes. You're going to like this one, I think. Here she is. It's Natalie, the human printer. Walking backwards in heels with a portable printer, feeding a president a curated stream of things that make him feel good about himself. It's like having a child. Sorry, no offense to children. Somebody in that building has to tell that man the truth, and she's built an entire career out of making sure it is never her. Natalie, you going down, baby girl. In you go. Next up. Now, this is going to offend people, and I'm sorry, not sorry. This representation that I have chosen is not anything to do with the physical appearance of this man, although it is, but that's not my intention. It's intended to display the ugliness of the man and what I see every time I see him. Yes, it is Stephen Jabba the Chung. Because a grown man responded to the phrase, travel with Natalie, like it was a war crime, and in doing so told everybody watching exactly what he thought it meant. Nobody made him do that. He volunteered. Jabba, in you go. If you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all, would be my advice. Next. Oh, this is a good one. Is anybody familiar with the National Association of Black Journalists? They had their awards last week, and they give thumbs down awards to people who they don't think are furthering the cause of equity, diversity, inclusion, and black and brown men and women in journalism. and they gave an award to Stephen A. Smith. And Stephen A. Smith, former sportscaster, but now he does a lot of other stuff, he's really cross. He really angry, and he is losing his shit on his own show, on Fox News, on literally anywhere he possibly can. And that is what I saw every time Stephen A. Smith opened his mouth. This is for you, Stephen, for not taking the Thumbs Down Award from the National Association of Black Journalists as constructive criticism for being a little asshole when describing beautiful, brilliant, strong black women. Mate, when your own people hand you a thumbs down, that is not a hate campaign. That is feedback, honey. And Martin D. Vasquez wrote a whole article on it, so check that out. Who else have we got? I don't have enough hands. Why is it I feel like I have more hands when Laura's here, even though she's not actually here in the room? Next, I thought it was time. I'm sorry. If you disagree, that's fine. But don't forget, he's perfectly fine, so it's totally okay to take the piss out of him. But I have decided, for the longest goodbye in American politics ever, and for everything he chose to wave through on the way out, it's Mitch McCorpsel. In you go, Mitch. Up you go. Take your time. Be careful. Take your time. Take it slow. Oh, that's right. You always do. In you go. There's a good chat. Now, hopefully he can take that as like a shortcut to where he's ultimately going. Just saying. 3 more. Who should we have next? Oh, so we're spoilt for choice. Next, I think, is got to be John Sauer. We've already mentioned him. Oh, my God. Solicitor General John Sourface, for sounding like nails being dragged down a chalkboard, for repeatedly doing Trump's bidding, and this week for filing that emergency Supreme Court application over the ballroom that is clearly not an emergency. In you go, John. See if you can behave better in there. And our penultimate entry this week, we have, Scott Pick Me Jennings. This is entirely in order to make his daily auditions for the role as White House press secretary that little bit easier by putting him right next door to Dear Leader. In you go. Pick me. Heads up, apparently they're going to. He's looking at a man and he's tempted. Well, he's always looking at a man, isn't he? Just saying. No judgment, just words. And finally, for being an absolutely evil, nasty little scrotum, do we know who this is? And I'm sorry, I had to put this picture of him in because he needs an armed guard, because he is such an affront to humanity. He's such a dangerous individual, in my opinion. That's right. This is a former insurrectionist, right-wing neo-Nazi scumbag who instigated the fascist riots in Dearborn, Michigan, because the Muslims are coming. You, sir, are a word I don't use. You are now going in with your armed guard into Mount Mama. Bye-bye, Jake Unfuckable Lang. Bye-bye. And that is everybody. So now we've dealt with the arseholes. Oh, shall we have a bit of more positive news? My drones are going. Okay. Ouchie, ouch, ow. Oh, I've got a cramp in my hip. Oops. Oh. Democracy Diamond, anybody? I think so. So, as always, the light at the end of the tunnel, the Democracy Diamond, because a diamond is just a lump of carbon that got put under some unbearable pressure for a very long time and came out clear and hard and beautiful and precious. That is the award. And this week, the award is going... I will put it on the map and then I'll come back and tell you about it. How's that sound? Ready? I'm glad Martin's in the chat. You'll see why. Oops. Let's turn you round. Move you over. Okay. You're still there. Now, we're just going to go with a little one because it's only a little area and I still predict good things for Texas. So I don't want to steal their thunder with this. But tonight's Democracy Diamond Award goes to... Georgia. Does everybody know where that was? Amy would know. I'm pretty sure Amy would know. Big Bend! Yay! Thank you, Amy. And I will tell you for why. Once I've got myself organised. There's just wires everywhere. Oops. And if I remember, one more thing at the end. There we go. I look all kind of Bonnie Tyler. May she rest in peace. God bless her. With my hair flying around. Okay. Right, that's just going to have to shine on the glasses because I'm in too much pain. So, yes, Big Bend, Texas. Amy will know what happened. It's north of the border. It's just on that little Big Bend, I guess. I guess that's why it's named that. So, bulldozers, for those of you who don't know, rolled into a national park. Homeland Security had already waived a whole slate of environmental laws, including the Endangered Species Act, to get it done because they're fuckers. And then a bunch of river guides, ranchers, sheriffs and county judges in the middle of the West Texas desert made them stop. It's mostly states, Betsy. It's mostly states, but it's for individuals, organizations, geographical locations, and hopefully states, because the idea is to hopefully turn the whole map diamond before the midterms. But as I say, because I did and ah whether to go with the whole of Texas or just Dearborn on this one, because we've got big crowns and little crowns. The little crowns are mainly for the East Coast states that are also teeny tiny. But I thought, no, on this occasion, we're just going to give it to Dearborn because I feel like Tallarico might give us reason to stick a few more crowns on Texas. I think I see a lot of good things coming out of Texas before we get to November. So that's the for why. It's, you know, we don't have rules here. We have guidelines. You would admin you out if you went with the whole set. Yeah, don't fuck with admin. There is one rule that I live my life by, and that is don't fuck with admin. All right? I recommend you obey that particular rule. Hey, Miss Hughes. Yeah, we're still here. So, why Big Ben? So they've done this. They've fiddled with the rules. Here's what happened. On Monday, the Customs and Border Protection Commissioner announced he was pushing all construction activity in the park. So he could go down there himself and do a personal on the ground evaluation. So The Associated Press called it a rare concession from the administration on a signature promise of the president's. So it is, I mean, it's only temporary, but it's more than I think a lot of people thought it was going to be. Then by Tuesday, after sitting down with a bipartisan group of county judges and sheriffs, he committed to no work resuming for at least another 2 weeks. And it was not lawyers who did that. That was local businesses, and they'd been turning federal contractors away. A bipartisan group of sheriffs had been publicly outspoken for months. John Cornyn, the Republican, wrote to Homeland Security on behalf of border sheriffs, county judges, private landowners, and park advocates. Wow, well done, John, because, you know, I'm just saying you've been in Mount Mama. Both candidates in the congressional district that covers Big Bend oppose building this ridiculous wall, largely because they don't fucking need it there. It acts as a natural barrier to stop people. They just don't have people crossing there. And on Wednesday, landowners and conservationists packed out the Texas Parks and Wildlife hearing in Austin to try and stop it on state land too. I am sure that Amy could probably tell us an awful lot more, but these are just the highlights. So a business owner in Terlingua put it best. It reveals, she said, that standing up for our public lands does work. And I love it. Just FYI, Santa Elena Canyon is 1,500 feet of sheer limestone, and it was cut by a river that simply refused to stop pushing. Carbon under pressure makes a diamond. Water under pressure makes a canyon. Same lesson. Republican sheriffs, Democratic legislators, river outfitters and ranchers all leaning on the same rock until it moved. Now, to be clear, this is just a pause for evaluation, not a cancellation, and nobody knows yet whether it's going to hold. So that's exactly why they get the diamond tonight and not the whole state, because they're trying. The local people are standing up for local people and local land, and that takes a lot in this administration, and I salute you all. The pressure worked. Keep the pressure on. This is what the Democracy Diamond Award is all about. Pressure. And that brings us to the end. Sorry, it did go long, but I took advantage because Laura's not here and just shoved in all the content that I fancied. So, thank yous. Thank you so much to my beautiful salty sisters over on Discord, but especially the Coven. Summer Willen for all the promotional work. I couldn't do the posters without you. The inspirational storytelling on Mondays, Fridays, and Saturdays, noon Eastern. Amy Northam for the chat transcript after every single episode, and for fact-checking us live, and for her beautiful fiction. And seriously, folks, don't fuck with admin. Chris Palomino, our retired Disney artist, for her inspirational artwork, tutorials, and workshops. Voodoo Dolls workshop coming up, so keep your eyes peeled on Chris Palomino's Substack. And she gives us the power to fight for democracy with style and flair. And of course, Laura, my lovely poorly Laura. Off sick tonight, yet still somehow managing to get her fucking oar in. That means have her say in your language. Not that I mind, it's totally fine. You understand. I'm totally cool with it. We're she'll know what that means. Yeah, but she still managed to keep me on my toes, keep me going, keep me focused. I'm kidding. Of course she didn't keep me focused. That's Summer's job, and she's been busy. So thank you. Thank you, Laura, just for being by my side and keeping me wanting to keep on. keeping me the right flavour of unhinged. And thank you also for hunting down the guests that my imposter syndrome tells me would just laugh at me if I reached out myself. So I really do appreciate your absolute lack of fucks when it comes to approaching people. You rock, chick. Please follow all of them. Summer Willen, Amy Northam, Chris Palomino, and Laura Not Luma. And I promise you, you will not regret it. Thank you to everyone in the comments. You have been an absolute riot tonight. I am so grateful. Well, everybody in the comments. This is for you. All give yourselves a round of applause and a little pat on the back. Well done. You did a good job. I'm proud of you all. Thank you to everyone who subscribed, and thank you to all the paid mamacitas who keep this little independent operation alive. You are why I do this. And I like the sound of my own voice, but you know, that was kind of obvious. So if tonight was your first time in the cafe, everything I've done you will be able to find at mediocremama.substack.com. You can find me at Mediocre Mama on YouTube. You can find me on the socials as Mediocre Mama UK. And I'm erratic. This is the only thing that I do regularly. But if something happens and I get wound up, you'll see me all over the other socials. Full show notes and receipts will be available on Substack for our paid subscribers. And if you enjoyed it, please recommend us to a friend. If you hated it, then you know what to do. Recommend us to an enemy. I get more views. You get revenge. Easy, win-win. So, for those of you who want to stay, take a moment with me wherever you are and let's take a breath together. And release. Slow it down. Connect with your spiritual guide or your higher power in whatever way works for you. And Betsy, you just keep doing you, all right? So I've chosen a poem from 1860. And I've changed a word, just one word, and I will tell you which, and I will tell you why. This is a poem by Walt Whitman, and it just felt right for tonight. But he used the word race, meaning a people, in the way that it would have done back in the 1860s. And I'm going to substitute it for the word people, because that's what he was trying to describe. That's the essence of what he was saying. And I would rather you hear the whole poem than be distracted by a sensitive, contentious word. This is called For You, O Democracy by Walt Whitman. Come, I will make the continent indissoluble. I will make the most splendid people the sun ever shone upon. I will make divine magnetic lands with the love of comrades, with the lifelong love of comrades. I will plant companionship thick as trees along all the rivers of America and along all the shores of the Great Lakes and all over the prairies. I will make inseparable cities with their arms about each other's necks by the love of comrades, by the manly love of comrades. For you, these from me, O democracy, to serve you, ma femme. For you I am trilling these songs. Dear God, whatever you may be, please help me to stay engaged in the fight to save democracy, especially when I am tired, exhausted, in pain, or overwhelmed. Please help me to support my cousins across the pond by providing practical guidance. And please, please help us all to bring each other along with us. We ask all this in your many names. Amen. Right, my lovelies, what the fuck are you all still doing here? It's 2:10 in the morning, for Christ's sake. Fuck off. Hang on. Can't find it. I meant to do it, but now I can't find it. Oh, I lost it last time, didn't I? Fuck off! Fuck off! Imagine there's like a crow going, fuck off! So, everybody, I love you. Thank you. I will see you next time. But it's time to fuck off because I have been Mama. I look forward to seeing you next time. But for tonight, the cafe is now closed. See you all Monday for part 4 of the Women's Sphere. Don't forget to check out those other wonderful women on Substack, and I will see you back here hopefully with Laura next Thursday. Bye bye.